We're here today because there are seeds being planted, the seed that Go Native Arts represents. And I'll tell you a story. A couple generations ago, our Mohawk people, like Native people throughout North America, were kept down. We had a heavy burden. The image that most Americans had about us, especially the Iroquois, was very harsh. We were a warlike people, a savage people. But in our oral traditions, we had a different story. We were told of a time when people from the Great Salt Water had come to us, that these people were seeking refuge, that they came from countries where they were controlled by the iron fists of kings and queens and emperors. They came here, and we saw these people, these refugees, and we taught them how to be free. We taught them the elements of what it's like to be a human being, to be respected for who you are as a human being. We taught them what it was like to have leaders who speak on behalf of the people, and that this lesson manifests itself into the institution, the country called the United States of America. Well, that teaching was heresy. It was ridiculed, it was belittled, but we kept it alive, that we, in fact, taught the Americans what it was like to live as democratic free peoples. But it was difficult because of the restrictions in academia. They had their own perceptions about who we were. So we decided that we would take this seed of knowledge and we would search for different people, different American people who could take this idea and they could make it blossom. We found a young man who was willing to listen to us, who took the scales from his eyes and saw us as we were as human beings. And that young man was Greg Schaff. And he took this idea along with other young scholars, Dr. Bruce Johansson, Dr. Donald Grinde, and they actually found the tangible proof that in fact the individuals, the men who created what was to become the United States of America, learned the elements of democracy not from Europe, but from here. That what you practice today, the liberties you enjoy today, are indigenous to this land. And when scholars, young scholars like Dr. Schaff took this idea, it revolutionized the whole approach in American scholarships, the way American people perceived not only our history, but their own history. And so subsequently you have books like Native Roots, Indian Givers by Jack Weatherford, the great book called in 1491 by Charles Mann, the Encyclopedia of American Contributions to the World by K. Marie Porterfield, an entire change in the way people are now perceiving indigenous life in this land prior to formal contact.